After a controversial first half of Sunday's Super Bowl that saw numerous penalties and challenges, many are arguing that the NFL challenges should be reviewed by a third party as they do in the NBA and MLB. I'm joined by Take a Side's very own Jack McGarr and Jerome Sweeney to debate.
Yeah, I mean, with the NBA, they've had the Secaucus third-party review in New York for 4 years now, and it has not missed at all yet. They have a third party that constantly reviews every game. They have one referee that's outside of the game that can review every big call in each game. I don't really know why the NFL hasn't used this. I mean, with the biggest game of the year watched by tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of people, and you don't have a third party that can review controversial, big-time calls that can affect the entire outcome of a game, I just don't see why you would use that, especially when one call can make the difference between who wins a championship. I just don't get that.
So we've been seeing, particularly in the NFL, oh, that's a bad flag, that's a horrible call. Let's get a challenge flag out there for it, and we'll see how that goes. They tried it last year with offensive pass interference and defensive pass interference. We all know how that went. Didn't really work out. But those were just the referees on the field that were reviewing their own calls. So obviously, you're going to see your own call, and you're not going to want to overturn it. But, however, if you look at the NFL's total penalties this year compared to last year, there was over 700 fewer penalties this year than last year. If this game is not the Super Bowl, I don't think we have an argument here because, in a way, controversial penalties, yes, but they are penalties, and the referees see the play once in time, and they can only do so much about it. So I think they have every right to be able to make their call, make it firm, because it's what we all love at the end of the day. It's what gets the fans talking. It's what makes you love your team. It's what generates rivalries in the NFL. It's great business for the NFL.
Exactly, and I think you mentioned too, there were a lot less penalties this year overall. I think especially that fans do want to see less penalties at the end of the day. But when you're not making crucial calls, especially, I mean, there were a couple pass interference calls that were called that I think were a little weak, and then there were a couple that were pretty blatant that weren't called in the end. And I think when you have less penalties, again, fans do want to see that, but when you're missing crucial plays that really can turn the tide of a game, and you can't challenge that as a coach or a team, and you're really missing that crucial play, I think that really screws you over in the end.
I mean, it's sort of like in college basketball in the NBA, you can't challenge a foul. You get fouled, you can't really do anything about it. It's a soft foul, it's a real foul, whatever. You just got to keep playing the game. You got to battle back from it. I think having an extra review party would be good for the NFL. But do I think Roger Goodell wants to do that? I think no, he doesn't. I think he wants to just have his referees be in control of the league. We saw what happened with the replacement refs back in whatever year that was, 2013. Didn't work. So we have the best referees in the world in the NFL currently. So it's a system. It's going to be flawed, but at the end of the day, it's the best system, the best they can do in the NFL.
I mean, I think you mentioned it too last year when you could challenge pass interference on the defensive side and the offensive side. I think what really was wrong with that was you had the referees that made that call on the field review it after that. And those refs aren't going to want to say, hey, I was wrong in real time. You need a third party that goes on and says, hey, I think you really missed this call. Here's what we're going to do, and we're going to change that outcome. So I think the benefit of having a third party is that they can they can say that you're wrong and not have it be, bad on their end.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, and there's one thing for sure is Roger Goodell has another controversy on his hands, and there's only time will tell what he's going to do about this whole review penalty thing going forward. All right, that's all the time we have today. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. As always, head over to Sided.co and the Sided Debates app for more. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TakeAsideKU. For all of us here at Take a Side, I'm Jacob Polacheck, and we'll see you again next week.